In this video, you can see Renee Good behind the wheel just seconds before her death.
You see Renee Good put the car in gear, she turns the wheel, and she hits the gas. And that's when she attempts to run over this law enforcement officer.
Everyone is acting to the Minnesota ICE shooting with emotion. But today I want to look at it with math. Because no matter how you slice it or dice it, this was a situation where the variables were leading to a crash. What you just saw on the video is what everyone is fighting about. While they argue about right or wrong, they are missing the terrifying truth. It was just only a shooting, it was a collision course where both paths led to destruction. Whether the officer was dragged or the driver of the car was shot, the probability was 1/2. No matter how you slice it or dice it, this was never going to end well. Let's look at the math, why this was a no-win scenario.
Stephen A. Smith says he doesn't believe the ICE agent will face charges.
Don't expect him to be prosecuted. He was completely justified. From a humanitarian perspective, however, why did you have to do that? You didn't have to.
I guess Stephen A. is insinuating that why the ICE officer has to shoot at the lady, but it also could be said why the lady drove her car towards the ICE officer too. But let's get back into the scenario.
No! No! Shame! Shame! Oh my God! What the?
The ICE officers were on a mission to capture bad guys who had warrants. So when the lady parked her car perpendicular in the thoroughfare, that was blocking the ICE officer. That's why they stopped and asked this lady to get out of her car or get out of the way. So this is how this scenario starts. And she was alleged to be an ICE or in a group that watch ICE do their work so they don't mistreat undocumented immigrants. Let's look at scenario A. Let's say the officer doesn't pull the trigger. If he is standing at the door or reaching into the vehicle and she takes off, he is getting dragged. Best case for him, serious injuries. Worst case, he is killed under the wheels of that car. But even then, does she win? No. Now she is looking at a charge for attempted murder or vehicular homicide of a federal agent. Her life, as she knows it, is over. She goes from an ICE self-watchdog group to a life sentence in federal prison. That's a dark, dead-end road. Then there is scenario B, the one we actually saw played out on the video. The officer feels his life is in danger. He perceives the car as a weapon and he makes a split-second choice to use deadly force. He calls it self-defense. The public called it a tragedy. For her, it ends in a trip to the morgue, very sadly. For him, he has to live with the fact that he took a life, and he faces a firestorm that follows. In this scenario, she is killed, and the officer is forever tied to a violent escalation. Do you see the pattern? Whether the car moves or the gun fires, Someone is getting destroyed. If the officer is hurt, she is charged with murder. If the officer reacts, she is shot. There was no third option where he and the officer just go home. When you look at the footage thoroughly, then you realize this wasn't an accident. It was a collision course. The moment those paths cross in that specific, the good ending was already not an option.